Hi everybody! So this is going to be a bit of a weird video. It's not going to be like particularly highly edited, and I'll be quite honest, I'm doubting if anybody even cares what I have to say. But still, I think I'm pretty fairly well known in this community as being a very casual player and a casual person. I'm not trying to say that I speak for every casual player on Earth or in the community, but regardless, I'm sure you'll probably maybe have already seen like your resident challenger 14,000 LP's opinion on the preseason changes, and I just wanted to have a look at it from my point of view and see how things go. Since I figure that a decent amount of people will actually watch this video, I should probably tell you a couple things. First and foremost is if you watch my stream, I haven't been streaming in ages because my PC sucks. So I'm working on that, but I can barely stream like 2 games of League before it crashes, which is incredibly frustrating to people watching. Also, I might get banned in League because I've had like 3 lever busters in the last like on different accounts, granted, but like in the last 2-3 weeks. It sucks. I hate it, and I don't want to get banned, so I have to be very careful. Second of all, you still have time to buy a Rospim Sucks Halloween costume if you want. Also, we're hosting a competition where you don't have to buy anything, but you can make a cosplay of me, and we'll give you free stuff if it's good, which it won't be because it's me. So there'll be links in the description if you want to buy your Halloween costume. It's, you know, it's a terrible wig and a hat and a hoodie, but it's getting colder, so those things are pretty good anyway. So let's get into the season 11. Sorry, not season 11. Sorry, season 12 changes. I will say, like, off the bat, maybe not like tremendously impressed, but you know what, we'll give it a shot. I think there's some really cool stuff in here, below the level, below the surface, that for sure is good. So Riot said that the champions have been mostly balanced on release, for the most part, win rate wise, except Dr. Mundo. Didn't we like hotfix like the damage on like Vex? Was that what? I'm pretty sure there's like been quite a few champions in season 11 that have been like, you know, like Viego was released in, wasn't he? Right? Viego was released in season 11. Was he balanced? I don't know.
We try to make a healthy mix of high, medium, and low complexity champions. In this way, whether you like mechanical skill expression, point and click simplicity, or something in between, there's a new champion that interests you. For example, with Vex, we wanted to create a champion that was fairly... So, I will say that I think, for the most part, Riot have been doing a really great job of champion... Well, maybe not like the balancing necessarily, but I think that I would agree with that. I think that like recently... in the last couple of years, there has been some very overly complicated champions, like your Aphelios, and your Aphelios as well. But there's been a bunch of like really simple, like fun champions to play. Like Set is so simple, Vex is so simple. Like they're hitting the nail on the head as far as like creating champions for everybody. Like there was a period of time where like every champion had like a mini game relating to them. This was like a couple of years ago. Like they were releasing a champion that had like their things were just getting bigger. Their tooltips were getting bigger. Their freaking passives were huge, and there was all this stuff. Whereas like back in the day, like the first 40 champions were just like, yo, you press Q and it does damage. That's pretty much it. And I think that like, if you want to bring new players in, you can have these champions that are on the pedestal of like, hey, one day you'll be able to play these characters. For me, like, if I one day learn how to play Riven, then maybe something will happen. But in the meantime, like, we need champions like Set, we need champions like Annie, we need like champions that are super duper simple, that like Blitzcrank and stuff like that are still fun to play even if they're like very basic. But beyond just how complex a champion is to play, there's also how difficult they are to understand. We want new champions to have you is something we haven't always hit the mark on, especially still trying to find. Beyond new champion releases, this season we've seen a wide variety of picks in every role. We've also seen a healthy improvement in diversity of playstyles across roles, especially in jungle and top lane.
So, sure, if you count Stridebreaker before the nerf and Gourd Drinker after the nerf is like diversity. You know, I would like at its base level like agree with this and say like, I gotta say like this season in League was probably one of the most like bizarre seasons where like you could do a lot of things. Like, we saw top Lee Sin, and it was like totally fine. We saw like Lilia top, and it was like really pretty okay. Like a bunch of different characters and roles and positions. Like, it's a dream for me. I love it, right? It's a dream for me. Like, I love seeing diversity, and I love seeing champions being put into different places. Pantheon got done dirty. Like, he can't go support, and which is ironic because they show footage of Pantheon in the support role, but like, who is playing Pantheon support? Nobody. And he can't even pro or core through minions anymore. I would honestly, like, I would say I would put that more down to items, as opposed to like champions are like allowed to go to these places. Like, I don't think anything has necessarily changed about Lee Sin or Kane to the point that like it makes sense for them to go top, but like Gourd Drinker is just like clapped. Gourd Drinker is beyond clapped of an item. It is really dumb. And if you're allowed to jump in with like Lee Sin, Gourd Drinker for some damage and like heal, and then immediately like W out, then maybe like that's tough to deal with for sure. Like Kane, he can W knock you up, or W and then Q in and then run away or what have you. Like, it makes he's got a lot of things to work with, especially considering how like Red King like skills so hard with like lifesteal in general. So like it's a double-edged sword, because I would agree, but also I don't think it's because like the champions are changing in a way that would make them more versatile. I think it's because the items are pigeonholing people into pigeonholing people into specific directions, and I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, the jungle changes were cool. I don't think Darius's jungle is like good though, right? Like, it was too good. It was 500% on his passive, but I don't think it is anymore. I've been seeing Zed a lot in the jungle recently. I hate it. Like, it's the worst. I hate it so much.
The first one is a support tank item, perfect for champions that want to get aggressive and charge into the middle of a fight. When you immobilize an enemy champion, all nearby enemies will take increased damage from your team for a short period of time. The second new mythic item is built for mages who are looking for a little more survivability. It grants damage reduction that lingers for a few seconds after you get hit, and while the protection holds, you'll also get ability haste. We think it'll be particularly good for longer range mages who need a mythic that helps them survive a dive rather than pile on extra damage.
Okay, so I'm gonna just be honest, and this is coming from somebody who misses like the ability to play mages in mid. That item looks broken, man. That item looks like, you know, like, I don't know what items our man's got here, but like,
you'll also get,
you know, it's,
we think it'll be particularly good for longer range.
Being able to soak that much seems absurd. Listen, I like playing Lux and stuff. I'll say it, right? Like, I'll take it, because I like playing Lux, and I'll be quite honest with you, like, I miss being able to play her anywhere other than bot. Because, like, I don't like playing Lux support. I like playing Lux mid, because I like having more money and doing more damage. But at the same time, I really can't, because, like, Yone exists, and, like, Zed exists, and Talon exists, and they do not have a problem with dinking you on site. This is an item that's gonna cause some problems, I think. But like, in a fun, like, I don't know about in a fun way, but certainly it's gonna be a weird one. I'm glad that like mages are gonna actually be able to like head back into mid, and that they might be a little bit more like viable. At the same time though, man, this is gonna be as for like the tank item, I'll be honest, like, I don't really know if it I don't know if this like demonstrates it much. I think it's like this little effect that's like around them, right? It's just they're taking increased damage, I would presume. Although it doesn't seem like it procced on the snare. It only seemed to proc on Q, which is super weird. But in fact, in this case, it didn't even seem to proc like at all. Or maybe I'm missing something here. I have no idea. Yeah, I guess sure, new tank items. I don't know if necessarily that is the tank item that everybody wants, but it's better than nothing, I guess.
For example, assassins can look forward to a new legendary item that gives ability haste, and also refunds a portion of their ultimate's cooldown with enemy takedowns.
I hate it. I hate it. No, please, Zed, no, stop.
Tanks that can never get enough mana will be happy with a new legendary item that grants bonus health based on total mana, and also burn some of it to create a shield whenever they immobilize an enemy. Finally...
So wait, I'm confused here. Wait, hold on. So this is a mana item for tanks. But when you take damage, it burns the mana to create a shield?
Tanks that can never get enough mana will be happy with a new legendary item.
Is that not like a little bit counterintuitive to like having mana on tanks? Like, Malphite presumably doesn't want this. Well, maybe he does, but...
And also burn some of it to create a shield whenever they immobilize an enemy. And finally, mages who are tired of being denied their hard-earned kills can rejoice. They'll be receiving a new legendary that grants Magic Pen against recently shielded enemies.
Okay. The Magic Pen against recently shielded enemies, yeah, I'm all for that. I don't think it's necessarily gonna be as valuable as Serpent's Fang, but it's good to have like an option, right? That like, because shielding is pretty crazy in this game. So like, and if you're a mage, like, and nobody's buying Serpent's Fang, I will admit, it has come across me at some point where I'm like, maybe I should, nobody's buying a Serpent's Fang, maybe I should buy a Serpent's Fang and just auto attack like one time. But I don't want to do that because I'm playing like Ari or something.
For example, we're reworking Glacial Augment to double down on its fantasy of slowing down enemies. We're also making some modifications.
I hate it. I hate Glacial Augment.
Tempo.
Just get me out of here.
We're also making some modifications to Lethal Tempo to lean into its attack speed fantasy and give it a more distinct use case in the precision tree.
Okay.
Up next are bounties. Champion bounties give teams who are behind a way to get back into the game without being a straight shot to victory. And this year, we're adding a second way for teams to try and make a comeback. Objective bounties will work like champion bounties, except you cash them in by taking map objectives, like towers or Baron. They ramp up slowly when the enemy team lead grows, and the bounty is shared with your whole team, regardless of who claimed it. Taking objectives really is the best way to come back when you're behind, so we want to help make that a clearer and more rewarding strategy.
I'm like totally for that. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but there's some points where like if you're in like a vaguely long game, and you're maybe not doing so well, and like the enemy has like quite a few towers, like I will admit, like I don't think I really want to risk my life for like 150 gold, you know. So like I will like maybe avoid it because it could get me killed and it could be a really bad idea. But yeah, given it a bounty so that I can, at least if I'm gonna int for a tower, it's gonna be like 600-700 gold for my entire team, maybe even more if it's like a big bounty. So yeah, I'm totally I mean, just dreaming for split pushers, I guess. Beyond that.
Up first is the Hextech Dragon. When your team defeats it, you'll all gain additional ability haste and attack speed. And if you claim the soul, you'll receive a chain slow that works kind of like Static Shiv's passive. When this dragon takes over the rift, it creates Hextech gates that can transport you to set locations across the map.
This is gonna create so many problems. So many problems, dude. Putting mushrooms, putting traps down, setting up baits for going through portals. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be, I love it. I actually really like it. It's dumb and it's stupid and it shouldn't exist, but it does exist and it is going to exist and I'm here for it.
The second dragon joining the party is Hextech's darker sibling, the Chemtech Drake. When you slay it, your team will deal increased damage when your HP is low, letting you turn around those close team fights. This Dragon Soul provides a second chance at life. Well, sort of. When you die, you'll enter a zombie state, where you can still cast abilities and continue fighting when you'd normally be looking at a gray screen.
See, ever since Ultimate Spellbook, I knew there had to be some reason that they made that, like, soul. Like, it was the weird soul that, like, does this exact thing. I knew there was, I was like, there's no way they'd create this for no reason. And you know what? I don't hate it. Like, it's pretty cool. It's also probably pretty broken as well. Like, if you're, like, ahead and you're really, really fed, getting an extra, like, 6 seconds of after you die to just, like, pump out as much damage as possible without even having to worry about dying because you're already dead is dirty. But yeah, I'm pretty happy that there are, like, they're releasing new dragons. It's been, like, so many years since we had, like, dragons. I gotta say, these camouflage zones, that's a big camouflage zone, dude. I don't know about that one. that, oh, that's just like one gigantic trap. That walking into that is one gigantic trap. I hate that. I don't know, but I'm gonna have some bad moments in that zone for sure. So we got a bunch of achievements and stuff as well throughout the course of the client. No, the client, of course, but still. I mean, there's been achievements on League of Legends since like season 1. They've never ever worked though. It's always been coming soon. But sure, like, I'll just say this, like, I'm all for Eternals. Like, I'm all for like all of those things. I would argue that they should not be paid content, right? Like Eternals, I know you get like a couple of sets, but like I'm happy to put like some blue essence into it. I don't think they should just permanently be locked behind like you have to spend money to access these things. I have 0 Eternals, and I don't even think I claimed my free ones. I just don't have any interest in it because I'm like, you know, I'd have to buy like, I play so many champions, so many different champions. I'm like, I'd have to buy like 1 billion, and they also have different sets for different achievements, and I'm like, I can't keep up with this, and I don't want to. Okay, so a little bit disappointed with the game modes, I'll admit, and you're probably wondering like why. And let me be clear, I really like Ultimate Spellbook. That being said, though, right, I don't like, this is like, you know, a preseason announcement, and I feel like with the preseason announcement, there needs to be like some hype around it. So like, is that it? You know what I mean? Is that crazy? Like, is it crazy for me to think that? Like, is that it? We don't get any new game modes, which ultimately like is fine because I understand that that's not the end of the world. That also not everybody plays them and it's totally fine. But like an Ultimate Spellbook also is good. But there's a dev vlog that I'm actually trying to pull up right now, but as far as I can tell, like a very large amount of the thingies are never going to come back. So like, let's have a look here. So Snowdown Showdown and Nemesis Draft are never ever going to come back, which is unfortunate for Snowdown Showdown because I really liked it. Although I will admit the loading times for how long you were in game were absurd and did not make any sense. Ascension, Black Market Brawlers, Dark Star, Singularity, definitely not Dominion, Portal King, Nexus Siege, Project Overcharge. No plans. Hexakill, Doombots, and Hunt of the Blood Moon are potential candidates. Nexus Blitz is going to come back in 2022. One for All Earth, All Random Earth, and Ultimate Spellbook will 100% come back. But the Odyssey, Star Guardian, the PvE stuff is no plans to come back, and I'd be willing to wager it probably won't. But like you know what? Maybe like I mean, I'll be honest, this came out of nowhere for me, this entire video, and I'm wondering what people were thinking of. You know, I'm surprised to see people are kind of agreeing, but I feel like maybe it's been a rough year for League, and I was really hoping that maybe we pull out some interesting stuff. So us getting like achievements and stuff, that's cool, but like that should have been years ago that we got those things. And like, because I mean, season 1, it was when they existed, when they were in the tab and the client. Champion balance stuff, like an item for mages, like radical, like, but we had a full season where mages like sucked and like couldn't play the game because like assassins were just dinking them, and the only way you could like stop them was like but I don't know, nothing. You couldn't really actually, now that I think about it. So like, yeah, awesome, but like, where was it like a year ago, you know? Or where was that consideration when it was all like made to begin with? The new, like, same with the runes as well. Like, it's good that they're like making some changes to like glacial augment. Is that it though? Like, I would love to hear more about it, and especially like what they think the actual identity of like the inspiration tree even is, because nobody uses it. Maybe Nasus for like for the spellbook, but like beyond that, very few people use it apart. So it's either that or glacial, and that's it. And that's like a mage move as well. So the bounties, I'm on board with them for sure, 100%. Gives people like a reason to like actually try and take towers when they're behind. The dragons, I'm on board with the dragons. I hate change, but like I'm on board with the dragons. Give me some fun portal shenanigans. I'm a little bit scared of the camouflage zones. I'll admit, the camouflage zones do scare me. Don't want to walk in there, but nevertheless. And then yeah, the game modes. They'll pull something on us for sure. They'll pull some shenanigans, 100%. But it's a weird one. It's a weird one, for sure. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. I've 100% like definitely burned out all my. I've just word vomited all my opinions here. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. Like the video. We're gonna enjoy League, regardless of if they try and change it up or what have you. We're gonna have a lot more fun this season as well, as we always do. Start taking it too seriously. It's just a game. But give me Snowdown Showdown, make the loading queues faster, please. Because I did like that. Or maybe I'll hold a tournament for Snowdown Showdown. I don't know. Shut up. Anyway, bye. Thanks for watching.